And we cannot wait any longer.
Right now at 6, hundreds of educators rallying in downtown San Francisco as the strike looks to stretch into a 4th day.
It's okay for today, but tomorrow and Friday, I don't know.
The strain it's putting on families across the city and where negotiations stand tonight. Plus, we're learning more about the man shot and killed by Alameda County Sheriff's deputies. We'll hear from a friend who says the loss will be felt across the East Bay music scene.
Meaning he was the person who was putting together the bands. He was the person booking the venues. He was the person paying people. So he was providing a lot of opportunity.
And more rain around the Bay, how much this latest system will bring us, and a look at the next rounds heading our way over the weekend. And later, it's a sport that captures a lot of attention at the Winter Olympics, but there's only one dedicated curling club in all of California. We'll meet some of the local athletes preparing for the national championships.
This is CBS News Bay Area with Juliette Goodrich.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us at 6. It is another first alert weather day as more rain is working its way across the Bay Area. We've seen showers on and off all day, bringing some much needed moisture. And then check this out. We want to show you some time lapse taken from our camera on top of the Salesforce Tower. So this was just from the past 2 hours, showing dark clouds and scattered showers moving across the Bay Area. All right, meantime, ski resorts, they're grateful for all the snow they're getting in the Sierra. You better believe it. Downtown Truckee got a good dusting today, with more on the way this weekend, potentially feet of snow in the higher elevations by the start of next week. Meantime, here's a live look back here in the Bay as the rain starts to wind down tonight. I want to bring in Chief Meteorologist Paul Hagan with a look at some of the rain totals so far. Paul?
Yeah, we're still adding more rain into those totals with more heavy rain looming just off the coast. This is First Alert Doppler over the past couple of hours. You can see this band of heavy rain that's been soaking the coasts of Sonoma and Marin counties, but staying just off the coast of San Francisco. Now, the heart of the storm system is farther offshore, and it is generally going to drift to the west and weaken as we head through the rest of tonight, and that is going to drag this area of heavy rain along with it. The wild card is, does it wobble just a little bit farther to the east before it begins that westward push? And that would push that heavier rain into San Francisco and down the peninsula over the next few hours. Futurecast through 6 o'clock tomorrow morning has a pretty good handle on where the rain is right now. Tries to bring some of that heavy rain to at least coastal parts of San Francisco. But even across the city, there are going to be widely varying amounts of total rainfall over the course of about the next 6 hours or so. And after midnight, the showers are going to be winding down. By 6 o'clock tomorrow morning, maybe a couple of lingering showers left on the map, but those are going to be few and far between, and they should quiet down quickly after the sun comes up tomorrow. Rainfall totals, no surprise, the big winner in the Santa Cruz Mountains, Ben Lomond picking up almost 3 inches of rain. Storm total so far, it has been less than that across the rest of the Bay Area, less than a 1/4 inch of rain in Livermore, but about a 1/2 inch of rain in both San Francisco and San Jose, and 3/4 of an inch of rain in San Rafael. And it's been breezy. Some of the strongest gusts closer to the coast and in higher elevations. The hills above Los Gatos recorded a 66-mile-an-hour gust, close to 60 miles an hour at Point Reyes. Otherwise, 35 to 40 mile an hour gusts earlier today. But the winds are also starting to calm down. We're tracking the next round of rain headed our way, coming up in the full forecast in just a few minutes.
Paul, thank you. Looking now at SFO, the weather, particularly the wind, causing problems for travelers today. The website FlightAware says 284 flights have been delayed, 2 canceled. San Francisco Public Schools will be closed again for a 4th day tomorrow as the district and the teachers union haggle over a labor deal. Demonstrations continued across the city today, including at Ocean Beach, where educators formed a human banner saying "Strike for our students." We have team coverage of this ongoing dispute. Kelsey Thor looks at how the strain on families are handling all of this, and it's only growing. But first, let's check in with Brad Hamilton, who's tracking the very latest of the negotiations. Brad.
Well, Juliette, negotiators have now been back at the bargaining table for the past 7 hours. The main sticking point continues to be health coverage. And until that changes, we are going to continue to see growing frustration, including the teachers union coming here to where negotiations are happening. And they have been circling it with loud music for the past hour. So let's kind of recap the day that has been so far. The meeting between the teachers negotiators and the unions negotiators began around 11 a.m. The union delivered its counterproposal to the district's latest offer around 2:30 this afternoon. So far, we know that 3 points remain unresolved: health coverage, a wage increase for teachers, and special education funding. The latest update came around 4:30 from school spokesperson Laura Dudnick. who stressed that they want to get a deal done tonight.
We will stay at the table for as long as it takes. We want the strike to end. We want to be able to reopen schools and have students return to be with their teachers, with their principals, with all of the caring staff who show up every day and support our students.
Well, just about an hour ago, again, members of the teachers union started rallying outside the War Memorial Building to air out their frustration with the ongoing stalemate. Before that, our cameras were rolling as a coalition of students walked into the building where negotiations are taking place and up the stairs hoping to talk with Superintendent Maria Sue. Union negotiators have maintained for months that the district has the money to fully fund health care benefits. They say they are not budging until that happens.
The majority of the Board of Supervisors is with us today. We need the Board of Education to join us until this is done, because we will stay out until we have the agreement our students and our educators deserve.
So Superintendent Sue was asked earlier today in a press briefing if they have to keep making some of these agreements and kind of edging towards the middle here. Will they rule out cuts at this point? And the superintendent said she cannot rule out any cuts after these negotiations take place. She said the budget needs to be balanced. Now, on a lighter note, Juliet, we saw earlier a bunch of Pete's coffee yesterday get delivered tonight. We're trying Phil's coffee, so hopefully some superstition, and it's Phil's coffee that gets the deal done.
I like your take on it. All right, Brad, thanks so much. Now, of course, caught in the middle of all of this, we're talking about the students and parents who've been having to figure out childcare each day, that the schools are closed and not all the options are affordable. So our Kelsey Thorne has been hearing from some of those parents who say it's only getting harder as this strike drags on. Kelsey.
Hey, Julia. Yeah, at this point, so many parents are just trying to come up with more creative solutions to finding childcare for their kids. We've heard of parents doing groups of kids where one parent looks after multiple kids from a classroom. We've also heard of people going to day camps. But I spoke with two parents earlier this afternoon who are really struggling and hoping that this strike ends soon. For Sandy Mendez, these last 3 days have been stressful.
It is hard because we had to work.
Sandy has a 13-year-old and a 6-year-old in SFUSD schools. The strike has forced her to scramble to find childcare.
Yesterday and the day before yesterday, I had to pay someone to care the kids. But today is with father. It's okay for today, but tomorrow and Friday, I don't know, you know.
Sandy told me if the strike drags on, she doesn't know what she's going to do. Paying for childcare is expensive, and she really can't take any time off work.
It is hard because, I prefer them stay in the school, they learning, but now for my salary, for our salary, we have to pay now, it is a bit hard for us, it is more time, it's more money, it is more hard.
And Sandy is not alone. So many parents are struggling with the same issues. Priscilla Ramirez also has 2 children in SFUSD schools. Hers are 8 and 10. Priscilla speaks Spanish, so Sandy translated for us.
She say it's very difficult and go with them early, far away.
Priscilla's kids have been going to an aftercare program. The issue for her is that program is far away from where they live, forcing Priscilla to take multiple buses with her children every morning just to get there. That's why both she and Sandy are hoping this strike ends soon. They say they're supportive of the teachers, but really need the union and the district to come to an agreement so they can get their families back on track.
We need to have our voice listen, they listen our voice. We need to, they have something very good for this strike and stop as soon as possible.
Now, in addition to this being a stress on parents, this, of course, is taking a toll on the kids as well. Sandy told me that her daughter, her 6-year-old daughter, keeps asking questions about when she's going to go back to school. And at this point, Juliet, she doesn't know what to tell her.
Yeah, it's a tough one right now. All right, Kelsey, thank you so much. Of course, we will continue following these negotiations and bring you updates whenever there is a deal. And you can stay with us on the air and streaming on the free CBS News app. We are learning the assistant principal of San Jose Middle School was among 11 people arrested as part of an underage sex sting last week. 31-year-old Ruben Guzman is the assistant principal at Sunrise Middle School. San Jose police say he offered money to have sex with someone he believed to be a 13-year-old boy. They say he then arranged to pick the boy up in San Jose, but instead was arrested when he showed up for the meet.
Because of his place of employment, being a person of trust, detectives do believe that there may be additional victims.
The director of Sunrise Middle School says none of the allegations involve the school and that they have talked with students and their families, offering support and counseling to anyone who needs it. The unarmed man who was shot and killed by Alameda County Sheriff's deputies on Monday was a musician, a well-known one in the East Bay. He has been identified by family and friends as 40-year-old Anthony Anderson. Amanda Harris spoke to a friend and fellow musician about the legacy he leaves behind and the questions about how he ended up dead.
The East Bay music community is grieving after the tragic loss of one of their own, 40-year-old Anthony Anderson.
Just had a lot of love and a lot of passion and a lot of fun. So he was really like a fun person to be around. He had just always smiling.
Anderson was an accomplished trumpet player, and he brought people together to play music at the Starry Plow Pub in Berkeley. Kev Choice is also a musician and knew Anderson for more than a decade.
Tremendous loss because he was he was a band leader, meaning he was the person who was putting together the bands. He was the person in booking the venues. He was the person paying people. So he was providing a lot of opportunity.
He says now the community has to fill that void. The Alameda County Sheriff's Office says they received a call from a person claiming to have a firearm around 3:20 in the morning on Monday. When deputies arrived, they say a person exited the home on Selborne Drive in San Leandro and presented an immediate threat to deputies. 2 deputies shot at him, and he died from his injuries. A statement from the Anti-Police Terror Project claims it may have been a call for help. Quote, his mother, Christina Anderson, has shared that her son was struggling with depression and was reaching out for help. When someone calls for help, law enforcement shows up with guns instead of trained community-based crisis responders. The result, once again, is a life taken and a family devastated.
We all know that police officers need more training when dealing with people that are having mental health crisis, and sometimes there's other people that could come out to support in those situations to where a death of this tragic nature should not be the outcome.
The California Department of Justice is investigating the shooting, as required by law in law enforcement shootings of unarmed civilians. In the meantime, Choice is working on keeping Anderson's memory alive.
We're going to keep the glory going in the Bay Area, and much love to our community who's grieving right now. We got to come together with music as he would always want us to do.
According to the Sheriff's Department, the 2 deputies involved in the shooting are on paid administrative leave. All right, still ahead, right here at 6, some Oakland families finally getting some assistance as their brand new apartment complex is stuck in construction limbo. Plus, as Americans cheer on Team USA at the Winter Olympics, we're going to take you inside California's only dedicated curling club.
For the people who want to be competitive, we now have the resources for them to really reach their dreams.
An update to a story we brought you yesterday. 9 families stuck without a place to live are finally getting some relief while they wait for their brand new affordable apartments to open in West Oakland. The city held a ribbon cutting for the Phoenix apartments in November, but the building is still not open. Today, an advocate for the families said Alameda County has matched the 9 families with long-term shelters, and the property's developers are donating $10,000 to put up the families in hotels until they can move into those shelters. 91 other families are also waiting to move into the Phoenix. There's still no confirmed opening date for the complex. Team USA is sweeping up medals at the Winter Olympics. Yesterday, 2 Americans won silver in mixed doubles curling. Corey with a C, Corey Tesi, and Corey with a K, Corey Dropkin, made history as the first U.S. mixed doubles team to medal. And their success could be sparking a curling craze back home. Now, you might not expect an ice sport to gain traction in sunny California, but as our Kara St. Cyr shows us, momentum is sweeping through Oakland, where local athletes are chasing national championships.
as the USA curling team competes in the Olympics in Italy.
So I'm about to set up to deliver my first stone.
Abby Lynn has her eye on a bullseye of her own.
Grab my rock.
This 10-year curling vet qualified for 3 national championship events, the most she's ever won in her entire career.
It's only been 2 years since getting back into competitive curling in my career of curling, so it's really exciting.
But Abby can't take all the credit. She's a member of the San Francisco Bay Area Curling Club. They're making history this year, with 21 members qualifying for 6 national championship events.
Oh my gosh, it's so exciting. It's really amazing that so many people from our club have qualified for all of these championships, and it's really because we have this facility, as you see around, and we wouldn't be able to make it to all these competitions without having our own facility.
Kate Garfinkel, another championship hopeful and Abby's teammate, says these wins plus the Olympics is a boon for the sport. Garfinkel says it's rare to find a curling community in sunny California. This club is the only dedicated facility in the entire state.
For the people who want to be competitive, we now have the resources for them to really reach their dreams.
But now is no time to celebrate. All teams are prepping hard for a win in each event.
You know, I hope one day to be able to represent the Olympics, the Team USA in the Olympics. It would be so incredible.
Today, a national championship. Tomorrow, the Olympics.
So Kate and Abby are among the 21 athletes that SF Bay Area Curling Club is sending to the upcoming national championships. That event kicks off February 23rd in Charlotte. Good luck. All right, San Francisco is expanding incentives in hopes of bringing in more TV and film productions to the city. Some of those new incentives include a 10% rebate on local spending, local supplies, and labor. So once productions hit $1 million, that rebate rises to 20%. There's also a 100% rebate on city fees like permits, police services, and use of city property of up to $1 million. Does this all make sense? Previously, the city only offered rebates of up to $600,000 and required productions to shoot more than half of their project in San Francisco. Bottom line, it's a good thing if it comes. All right, coming up, what happens once this rain moves out? We'd like to know that, Paul. He's back with a forecast for our weekend and even beyond.
Well, it hasn't rained everywhere all the time today. It has been a generally wet and windy Wednesday, and that goes for this evening as well. The heaviest rain has been hanging out just offshore, and you can see that band of heavier rain shaded in yellow here on First Alert Doppler. Some of that has been hitting the coast of Marin County and a little bit on the coast of Sonoma County, but the bulk of that heaviest rain has been staying just off the coast of San Francisco, and I think that trend is going to hold. Everything is pinwheeling around the center of the storm system, which is way out over here off the coast by about 100 miles or so. However, we do still have a few bands of showers down the peninsula. They're going to be making their way to the north. The farther inland you go, the more likely it is that you're not going to see a whole lot of additional rainfall. But closer to the coast, more likely these showers are going to be making their way up towards you. And all it takes is about a 10-mile wobble of that center of low pressure to send that band of heavier rain into San Francisco and down the peninsula and into Marin County as well. Futurecast through midnight tries to bring some of that rain in and then starts to push the rain a little bit farther to the west. It's going to be very, very close either way. But after midnight, we are going to see the showers largely quieting down. I think by the time the morning rush hour gets going, we're going to be left with a few leftover showers, basically some sprinkles here and there, largely in the higher elevations, and even that should fade out within an hour or so after the sun comes up tomorrow. Temperatures are going to warm up once the sun comes up because we're going to see decreasing clouds throughout the day, and we're going to end up a few degrees above average for high temperatures by Thursday afternoon, up into the middle portion of the 60s in the Santa Clara Valley, low to mid 60s on a widespread basis, also into the low to mid 60s east of the Oakland Hills and around the Bay. Not a whole lot of variation to our temperatures tomorrow. At the coast, you should make it up to the low 60s. Some of the warmest spots farther inland in the North Bay getting up to around 65 degrees by tomorrow afternoon. We're not done with the rain chances, though. Even though we're going to be drying out by mid-morning tomorrow at the latest, the next round of rain looms as we head into the weekend. Our long-range forecast models side by side have differing versions in terms of exactly when the rain is going to arrive. The American forecast model keeps us dry on Saturday. European model tries to at least bring some light showers in by Saturday late afternoon. Be flexible with any outdoor plans by late afternoon on Saturday, but they agree that it's a generally wet scenario as we head through the rest of President's Day weekend, with rain becoming more widespread Sunday into Sunday night and continuing on President's Day for Monday and continuing on Tuesday and another wave of rain headed our way after a brief little dry-ish break early Wednesday. More rain is likely to develop. This is going to be quite a bit of snow in the Sierra. A lot of folks take President's Day week to go up in that direction. If you want to head there, do it on Saturday or earlier in the day on Sunday. We'll freeze the map here Sunday afternoon. You see at that point the snow is just starting to stick, but then Sunday night into Monday, they're going to add up 6 to 12 inches of snow. Monday night into Tuesday, another 6 to 12 inches of snow. Tuesday into Wednesday and Wednesday night, another 12 to 24 inches of snow. So once you're there, be ready to stay a while because travel conditions trying to come back late next week are definitely going to be tricky on both US 50 and I-80. Let's check out the 7-day forecast. Got a couple of dry days tomorrow and Friday. More clouds on Saturday, but still dry most of the day. And then the rain returns Sunday and Monday. Rain and wind likely to be factors for Tuesday and Wednesday, along with some chillier temperatures, only in the mid-50s for highs Tuesday and Wednesday. So not only are we going to get some more typical wintertime rain and wind, also some typical wintertime temperatures dropping us down. It's going to feel chilly by the middle and end of next week.
All right.
Be ready for it.
Bundle up.
Yep.
Thank you. All right, when we come back, a San Francisco private school opens its doors for students whose campuses shut down during the teachers' strike. Public schools across San Francisco have been closed all week during the teachers' strike. And with parents and students left in limbo, a private school on Potrero Hill is offering a temporary solution. Burt Shoe Academy has opened up short-term enrollment, helping fill in education and childcare gaps. The school already offered after-school programs and has now expanded to full-day classes, including English, math, Chinese, and art.
Children definitely should not be the victim of adult fights or the casualty of adult fights. We are trying to step up and help the community as best as we can.
It's been a big help because I don't want to just drop the kids off at childcare. I want them to continue the education.
We've also seen nonprofits, after-school programs, and churches step up to care for students. And again, schools will be closed for a fourth day tomorrow as talks continue. We'll be following the developments and bring it to you here. CBS EV News is next. Local news always streaming. We'll see you at 7 o'clock with more news just for you. See you then.